I feel this is another movie people are going to get mad that I've put onto my list. But here we are. This is number 26, A Prairie Home Companion. In my opinion, very, very few film directors get a perfect final film. Some people have come close, but usually what happens is it's a dwindling, a very slow decline into irrelevance, or one or two extra films that come at the end of their career. There's like, they probably should have called it quits. Now, Robert Altman is one of my favorite filmmakers of all time who made just a ton of films. They're not all hits. There's a few misses in his filmography, but as taken as a whole, it's just one of my all-time favorite filmmakers. And what he excelled at doing was usually getting very large casts. Oftentimes, dialogue would pile on top of each other. It was very fly on the wall. And detractors will say nothing happens in his movies. And I'm here to tell you, that's why I like them. A lot of times it is just a look at a very specific moment in time. And the meaning comes into how the characters react to one another, what they say, what they don't say. And ultimately, this film is about death. He knew this was coming near the end of his career. Paul Thomas Anderson was on standby in case he actually collapsed and died during the making of this movie. Something that makes it even more poignant is that he actually did pass away. I think it was a few months after this movie came out. So this ends up being this ode to his entire filmography. He gets a bunch of people that had been in previous films of his, and it's about a real, long-time running radio show, A Prairie Home Companion, but in the fictionalized version of that show in this movie, it's the last show that's ever going to happen. So they're bringing on all their old favorites, doing one last production, and the person who has bought out the radio station is coming to take a look at it. They're hoping to impress him, and I love movies about the making of things. So the behind the scenes of a play, or old vaudeville stuff. This is, again, I should have been born in the 1930s. The way that they show seamlessly the stuff that's happening out on stage, behind stage, in the dressing rooms, outside of the theater, it just all works magically for me. Again, I know this is not everyone's cup of tea, but for me it really touched me deeply when I first saw it, and it's only become more so the older I get. I guess it is this feeling of death walking around, in this case personified by Virginia Madsen, but that feeling that it's getting ever closer to you as you try and do the stuff that you love, and it becomes more untenable. It's a happy thought for this day, is it not? Anyways, I love A Prairie Home Companion. Are there films out there that you think are the perfect final film of somebody? Let me know down in the comments below. And tomorrow, a classic horror film.
Remember to keep your feet on the ground, your hopes up high. Pray for rain, keep the humor dry, and eat those powder milk biscuits. Thank you, everybody.